What's going on, everyone? I hope you had a terrific Tuesday. What a beautiful day across the area. We got a lot to discuss here, and I want to kind of go over a few things. And you're probably like, no, wait a minute, what do we have to discuss? It's so amazing. The weather's just great. Well, we need the rain. We need the rain in a major way, but it appears that our weather pattern could be changing by the end of next week. Might even be in the middle of next week. I know Jeff's like, we shall see. Well, here's the deal. It can't remain quiet forever. We can't just have throughout the rest of October where there's no events or no storm systems or anything like that. We do have, I think, a change in the cards, a change in the weather pattern. But there's a couple things that I want to discuss. Number one, I want to let you know about the space station flyover tomorrow. This is kind of cool. Also, there's a lot of solar activity now, and I haven't seen the latest, but we're waiting and anticipating a sunspot to possibly release an X-class solar flare. At the moment, it hasn't, but it's expected to be a CME that's coming in either overnight tonight or tomorrow that could bring a G1, G2 geomagnetic storm. There's one sunspot in particular that has quite a bit of what we call a delta class magnetic field that could release X class solar flares, which could cause the northern lights to be seen, possibly maybe as far south as our area, if that X class solar flare really does release a CME. But let's talk about some other stuff. Let me show you this. This is the International Space Station. So for those that are watching tomorrow evening at 7:44, look in that northwestern sky, and you are going to see the space station start about 10 degrees above the horizon where it's shown and starts to light up. And it'll become really bright as it gets overhead. Now, it looks kind of like a moving star, but it doesn't, or should I say a moving planet? Because you know how planets don't twinkle and stars do. This is going up to about 90 degrees in elevation, 89 to be exact. You can only get 1 degree higher. You won't notice a difference. And then at 7:50, it ends. So it's not too late. It's not too early. The space station flies over quite often, and a lot of people see it. But this is going to be a good sighting, a really, really good one. So another thing that I want to discuss is the burn bans. There's so many of them right now that you can see 61 counties in Arkansas that are added to burn bans, including Adair County in Oklahoma. And so that's pretty rough right there. The rain forecast for the next 7 days doesn't look promising. As you can see off to the west, there are some rain chances. And keep in mind, this only goes until Tuesday of next week. So I think we do get some changes. Now, let me go ahead and dive right on into this because for those that are watching the replay, they want to be able to see what's going on. So here's a look at the jet stream. You're going to notice a dip in the jet stream, and you're going to see here that as we move into our next week, Monday, Tuesday, all right, you see that? There's a pretty good sizable trough that's digging in from the Pacific Northwest. Now, not all models show this. The GFS, you can come on in, that's fine. Not all models show this. The GFS is a little weaker with the trough and also a little bit farther north. But regardless, we have this potential for some showers and storms that are going to be moving in, and you're going to see this dip in the jet stream. Now, at this point, this is a pretty large, positively tilted trough that does kind of almost go neutral. And there's a lot of jet stream energy and there's a lot of storm activity that could pop up. So if we go ahead and show you, let's go here. We're going to add a window. I'm going to add this. So this is the European model, and the European model is a lot different than the GFS, but you get the idea that watch the storm activity here in central parts of the state. So the central part of the nation. Look at that. Thunderstorms popping up because of the big dip in the jet stream. And look at this. This is snow in the Colorado Rockies. So there is going to be a substantial jet dip if the European really does come true. Now, keep in mind, this is about 8-9 days out, so it's still a ways out. But look at all that rain, and then watch this really crank up as the storm system really evolves and comes through. Now, this is at the very tail end of the forecast, but that spells severe weather potential. And if we go back here to about 222 hours out, this is, by the way, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. And then if we even go into the overnight hours, this is 6Z, so it's 1 in the morning on Thursday morning of next week, not this Thursday. And we look at some of the severe weather parameters. Check this out. You'll see that we've got surface-based instability. So that's the surface-based LCL heights. Here's a look at the mixed layer cape and the photographs. So definitely some storm activity that could be evolving and developing. And there you see that instability starting to return. So this, by the way, is Thursday afternoon, starting to nudge up into the area. And if we look at the mixed layer, mostly unstable cape, you'll see quite a bit of instability that comes back. And when we click on, I mean, this is still a ways out and there's still a lot to be determined, but look at the thunderstorm potential activity on, so this is Wednesday night into Thursday morning. There it is, maybe a little bit of possibly some rain and storm activity that weakens the lapse rates, but nevertheless, pretty good shear profile, big dip in the jet stream that could bring even the potential for a marginal tornado. So that's a ways out, but it's something to watch. Here's a look at the jet stream dip on a different model. So there it is coming in. Now, the GFS is a little bit different. What does the GFS do? Well, the GFS brings this dip in the jet stream, which it does have, but it makes it too progressive and it kind of meanders farther north. Now, I'll be honest with you, the GFS has definitely not been my favorite model by any means. So remember this. The GFS is the model that caused all the uncertainty with Ian because the European was farther east almost all along on the west coast of Florida, while as the GFS kept showing it coming into the Florida Panhandle. So there had to be that cone of uncertainty, which a lot of people got angry with, the cone of uncertainty. But that's a whole nother thing. And I want to kind of get your thoughts on this. What do you think about what happened in Florida? Was there a miscommunication? I mean, I don't see how we could communicate anymore how bad Ian's going to be. I think people, when they see it as a category 1, and then they're like, oh, well, initially it's not going to be that strong, and then it strengthens, and it strengthens even more, and then it becomes a high-end category 4, which definitely has that potential, and we were mentioning that. Now, maybe we didn't know it was going to be category 4 that fast, but and also the track took a hard right turn, which I mentioned on social media and I discussed. But people need to understand, if you're in that cone of uncertainty, you still need to take it seriously. Don't show a center line. Don't show all this stuff. I don't think there was many miscommunication. I personally think that people are just stubborn and just won't leave. Now, I know that there's some people that can't leave and there's restrictions for them leaving. We dealt with this with Katrina when it moved into New Orleans. But I think some people did refuse to leave. And then they're saying, you know what? I'm not going to do that again. Hurricanes, especially category 4, are bad news. They're absolutely bad news. So, you've got to take it seriously. And I think people just make their own choices. I really do. Yeah. And the area that was at landfall was always in that cone of uncertainty. So let's go back to our weather graphics here. Kind of got off my soapbox a little bit, but there's that big dip in the jet stream with a positively tilted trough transitioning to neutral. And you're going to notice the shower and storm activity popping up Wednesday night, Thursday morning, thunderstorms, Thursday afternoon, possibly some additional storms. At this point, this is a lot of rain. And then finally, we got some storm activity. The next 2 days, not really a lot happening. And you can see those temperatures getting up into the upper 70s to lower 80s. And so you can see that activity. Yes, absolutely. I see that comment about Loretta Lynn. I saw that she died at 90 years old, made some incredible country music. There was a country music concert tonight. I wonder if the Chicks honored her at the concert. Let's see if we can get a live view here. Earlier, I was looking at a live view from the Walmart amp. And yeah, there it is. So the concert's over. People are leaving. And that's a zoomed in view of that. Definitely praying for her family. So, all right, let's kind of look at some of the comments here. Isaac says, I'm watching you from Greensboro, North Carolina. Last week we had rain and high winds in North Carolina on Friday. The Panhandles, Oklahoma showing snow next week. Do you buy that? At this point, it's a little early, but I'm buying it more than what the GFS shows. That's for sure. Rain. Yeah, I do think we see some rain mid to late week next week, and I think it's going to be a pretty strong storm system. Kevin, I did get your email. I have to discuss this with Lisa. She was out of town. We do have another job shadow that's coming in. Job shadow we can do. I thought it was an internship, but job shadow, yeah, we can definitely make that happen, Kevin. So we'll definitely do that. Hey, absolutely. Hello from Fayetteville, Arkansas to Greensboro, North Carolina. How about Josh there? Happy to report the stream is going strong. All right. Thank you, Josh. So the Arctic fronts did show stronger earlier this year. That's another thing, too. What about fall foliage? So I hope we have a good year fall foliage wise. This is what the latest current fall colors. This was just updated yesterday from the foliage report that we get. And you'll notice in Northwest Arkansas, we got patchy color. That's it. This will change over time, but here's what I think the expected peaks are. Now, you might be seeing different, results on this. I think late October is the time period, and here's my thinking. Number one, it's been very dry. So a lot of the leaves are turning brown. Because they're turning brown so fast, that's leading to them falling off the trees. So any type of wind that we get, let's say we get this big storm system that comes through, it brings a squall line, heavy rain and strong winds, going to knock down a lot of the leaves. That's going to make the peak earlier. Another thing too is that, the river valley is obviously always later. And I think the river valley will hold true for it being later. But higher elevations will still be right around the end of October, especially in Mount Magazine, where it could be a week or even possibly 2 weeks earlier, especially on top of Mount Magazine. So that's kind of a look at the peak forecast. So if you're planning your fall foliage trips, I would do that week before Halloween into the week of Halloween. October 29th, my daughter's birthday, the same day that they're holding the Emmy awards ceremonies, which so I won't be attending. I'll be attending my daughter's 18th birthday. 18th birthday only happens once. So definitely. All right. People were upset about lack of communication on Ian. Do they have their heads in the Florida sand, Aaron? Isn't that the truth? I mean, people are always going to blame and complain and point the finger somewhere else, right? And meteorologists didn't get the landfall exactly correct. Well, I will say that the track, the day before landfall was a little too far north, and you can't just look on the models. You have to look at the current trends, and it was showing that northeasterly jog. But even with that, that was still in that cone of uncertainty or the cone of, confusion, as some people say. And I don't think there is miscommunication. I think human nature is gonna, come in eventually on some people where they say, well, if it's my time, it's my time. I'm not going. And then they end up living through it, and then it was the worst experience of their life. You see constantly storm stories and storm documentaries. We had a soundbite from a guy that went through it in Fort Myers and said he's not doing it again. Hey, Category 4 hurricanes are not fun, and especially the storm surge too. They had the tribute on the Grand Ole Opry, absolutely. Fall was not impressive last year for colors. No, it wasn't. And I think we're dealing with the same thing. This is the magic time where we need rain. If we get rain in mid to late October, it's going to be too late. But if we get rain next week, it'll still be too late, I think. Been absent with dealing with deployment. So howdy. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Laura. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you on here. GFS is always so progressive, Cameron. It's always too fast, and it's had that bias that needs to be corrected for years. Years the GFS is the Speedy Gonzalez weather model, and but yet it wasn't progressive on. It was too slow on, go figure, on Ian, and also taking it too far west. It's getting cold, and it's all your fault, Dan. Well, the messaging is there, so get ready. Speaking of cold, Saturday morning, you might need the jacket. and I'm talking about the thick jacket. We're talking about some really chilly weather. Look at this. And I think Zach might even be coming in and putting upper 30s on Saturday. I was contemplating it. I think tomorrow I will. Upper 30s for Saturday morning, maybe even mid 30s, honestly. It's going to be chilly and dry. And so that's going to be crazy. Active weather ahead next midweek with a question mark. I've got 20% on there just because with such a strong system, you typically get a little stronger lift than what's expected. And so that's going to bring a little bit of rain potential. Not a lot, but still potential for some showers. Fire spread danger, also a big problem too. You saw the dry conditions, you saw the burn bands, winds are going to be picking up, the relative humidities are going to be low. And so it is going to be a little bit of fire spread danger because if we go to the 7 days, you see northeasterly winds 10 to 15, 5 to 15, breezy with gusts up to 20. That's going to be a little breezy with close to 80 degrees on Friday in the River Valley. That's definitely going to lead to a fire spread danger. So that's kind of what we've got there. Shelly, you're welcome. Love to do it. Humans are stubborn by nature and can definitely get into a lot of trouble eventually. Yep. When will it be time to open the persimmon seeds? That's getting real soon in a couple of weeks. Oh, William. Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Hope you're holding things down in the Stonebridge Meadows subdivision. Yeah, good to see you. Haven't been running. Guess what? Got my knee operated on, so that was on Thursday. But I'm moving around all right today. I think I'll be right as rain, figuratively and literally, maybe next week. Yes, very good point. Smokers, don't throw your butts out the window while driving. Bikers don't do that as well. I know you might be not smoking a cigarette while you're riding your motorcycle. However, you might be stopped on the side of the road. Do you have a forecast planner when we say to you from us? I do not. I do not have a forecast planner for Greensboro, North Carolina. However, and Saturn, I do have this little Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue forecast with the sound of the motorcycle. Wouldn't that be awesome? Ride on the pink trail. Gotta love that sound. I did. Now, here's the deal. I was a motorcycle rider back in 2009. Someone pulled in front of me, driving the wrong way into traffic. And to make a long story short, I got into a wreck. I dumped the bike. It smashed my leg. It cracked my foot and fractured my heel and all that stuff. And I literally did it in front of a school bus. So as that happened, I got up. I was wearing a helmet, but I wasn't wearing jeans. I was wearing my suit because I was on my way into work and I didn't feel like changing. And I got up and there was a school bus of kids and they were like, Mr. Dan, they saw me take off my helmet after I just got into this motorcycle accident. Now I had adrenaline kind of kicking in. My heel felt like it was crushed, but I was walking around and I kind of gave the bus two thumbs up like Evil Knievel. I literally did that. And man, I didn't realize how bad the road rash was. I was kind of a little bit of in shock. But here is my public service announcement. This week is Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. Please look twice or even 3 times before pulling out into an intersection. There's going to be a lot of bikers that are out there. Those bikers will be not easily seen. Motorcycles are very tough to see. Not only that, there can be, like I said, they can be driving maybe a little too fast. Just be careful. Look twice, look three times, and you heard those motorcycle sounds. I could tell you this: that loud pipes save lives. Yep, I am okay. It hurt though. I remember the road rash was the worst thing. That was in 2009, and since then, never rode a motorcycle. So watch out for bikes. Okay. Michael, appreciate that comment. I'm not going to share that one. But if you want to check it out, go to YouTube. That's a good one. Well, you're full of it then, Michael. Praying for no accidents at all this year. So the good news is, Amber, no rain, no storm activity, and yeah, hopefully no accidents. Is it Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue this week? Yes, it is. Starting tomorrow, I'll be live in Rogers. Now, this year it's not in Fayetteville, so you're not going to see as many bikes. Most of the activities up in Rogers, but I'll uh, I'll be there. I'll let you know. I still think there's going to be some bikers on Dixon Street. And Heather, you know, got to be honest. The bikers, they brought a lot of revenue and a lot of business to the area and the local economy. So it is a sore subject for a lot of people. And for those that didn't like it, honestly, it was just like one weekend, and it still brought a ton of money and raised a lot of great money for a lot of wonderful charities. And you never know who those bikers are. It's awesome because they can have, like multiple personality. They could be lawyers, they could be firefighters, they could be doctors, maybe anything, or bikers. A weatherman. I used to ride motorcycles, so yeah. That was a little bit bummer. I still think they're going to be on Dixon Street though. You can't. There's nothing like Dixon Street in Rogers, so I know that they're going to be riding around in the Pig Trail and Highway 59 and all that stuff. Josh, got your test comment from YouTube. you have to see the other comment. So, but anyways, yeah, there's some stuff going on for sure. All right. So if you're just hopping on here, last thing I'll say is we talked about fall foliage. We talked about the International Space Station. If you're just joining on here, you can watch the replay, but at the same time, this is a cool thing to check out with your kids. I might do a Facebook Live with this building it up so to remind you, and then we can kind of all see it together, which I think will be really fun. So, few high clouds tomorrow, but shouldn't interrupt too much viewing. Cobra Kai. I have seen season 1 and 2. I still have not seen season 3. I did see Hocus Pocus 2, and I thought it was good. But yes, Stargazer app does show the International Space Station flyover. So does Stellarium. So does the Sky Safari Pro. All that stuff. Yep. Get some experience. I appreciate it. Graduate in 2 semesters at Mississippi State. Sweet. Awesome. Come aboard. It won't be this week, though. We're pretty busy. I'm going to be live in Rogers for Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue tonight and tomorrow night. So I know, Jeff, you're skeptical. I get it. I know you're skeptical, but I could just say this, that it's going to change. The pattern is changing. It's mid-October. We're getting into our secondary severe weather season. We still have the active weather patterns. It just hasn't been around us because we've had a blocking pattern in place. So, nope. And Saturn, I did not. Like I said, I only saw season 2, and I started watching season 3. But I know it's an amazing show. I need to see it, need to watch it, all that. So that's really cool. How about this one? This is good. My son was deployed as well. This is from Shelly. Yes, ma'am. Family served too. I'm a military brat. My whole family served in all branches of the military. I wish, but had my children first. Um, you know, Thanks for your service. Thanks for those that are serving. That's for sure. Veterans Day is coming right around the corner. I'm emceeing an event for Home for Dinner, maybe even singing a couple of songs, according to Beth Hickman, who's um, basically the organizer and the director of who basically created Home for Dinner. So Wednesday AMP concert next Wednesday. Oh yeah, Megadeth. Megadeth is one of my favorite bands, heavy metal bands, and Josh can attest to this. You're probably like, yeah, right. You never played a Megadeth song in your life. Josh, if you're still on here, I know you can attest that. But it's not just Megadeth; it's Five Finger Death Punch too. Which, by the way, the weather might give us a 5-finger punch. Maybe not a death punch, but GFS will cave. It will. And honestly, that's why there's so much uncertainty. Really, it always happens to be with the GFS. The GFS always creates uncertainty. Uncertainty with the SPC long range forecast, uncertainty with the long range rain, and all that stuff. See, there you go. Josh is all about Megadeth. Biggest fan I've ever seen. Yes, I do love Megadeth. Won't be able to go though, but I will be there in spirit, and we'll definitely show several weather cameras. You had me at 3-finger death punch. We won't be sweating bullets on Wednesday. Maybe though, the humidity might be cranking back up if we get these storms. Dew points might be rising into the. It's a good question, actually. Let's look at that real fast. So we look at surface temperature, and we look at surface moisture. I wonder what the dew point is. Oh yeah, coming back. Oh yeah, wow, big time coming back. We're talking. Here, I'm going to add that. We're talking upper 60s, close to 70. That is storm worthy, folks. And this is exactly why there's that potential for storm activity. What happened here? Look at this. That's dew points, by the way. So look at it surging north by Monday. Gulf open for business. Tuesday, not really anything, but then Wednesday comes racing in. Upper 60s dew points, strong front arriving, maybe even a prefrontal trough. Look at the lightning flash rate too. Woo-wee, yeah, Wednesday night and Thursday morning. That's some stormy weather. And then let's look at the GFS. Look at the GFS. Nothing. Piece of garbage. Gotta go back to. That's the wrong time though. Here is. Okay, so this is the 18Z GFS. It barely shows. Oh, it's got a little bit of rain now. Starting to come back on board a little bit. But that's about it. Yeah, it's too progressive. Has the front coming through way too fast. Let's look at the Canadian. Got to go back to the 12Z. So here is, oh yeah, there's Wednesday, Thursday. Rain, storms. All you naysayers, all you doubters, I think you'll be seeing storms. Yep. That's coming next week. No, Josh, I can't do that. Wait, what? Storms? I thought you said none. I didn't say none. I said late next week we've got storms. Fifth Harmony. I remember them. Had a couple of good songs. Intrigued. That week will tell. Hoping it rained on the ground. I know. Can't use the old fire pit yet. It won't get canceled. If there's going to be storms, it's going to be late Wednesday night. So while they're playing Tornado of Souls, there might be some storms out to the west. Uh-oh. Alexander Williams. Uh-oh. He's not impressed. Get ready for an outbreak. Okay, guys, that about does it here. 30 minutes in. Hope you enjoyed this entertaining, maybe entertaining Facebook Live. And I guess that's it. I'll wait one more minute for comments. Yes, did wear a helmet. Cagers need to look 3 to 4 times before pulling out, turning. My ex bought a small Harley in July and hasn't rode a bike in 41 years. Please be careful. You're welcome, Roby. And you're welcome, Cindy. A pop girl group, Boys World. Huh. Just the beginning. Peace, says David. And I say, what is it, Adam Sandler, when he's like, peace, I'm out of here.